Let's play 999, part 28, or 7 times 4. I'm sure you all want to get to who this someone is, and probably a lot of you already know, or can assume very well. So, I feel like there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, I'm going to put these parts in smaller snippets simply because kind of just listening to 40 minutes of somebody talk is kind of boring. And with a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up from inside. Snake! You... Why? Ah, those voices. Junpei and Seven, unless I'm mistaken. Where are the others? Are they elsewhere? Of course, there was no reason Snake would have known anything about where anyone else would be. Junpei and Seven looked at one another. There was a great deal he needed to know, but... They had to tell him something, however, so they began to talk. Snake explained to them how he came to be locked in the coffin. Apparently he'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas, and Junpei and Seven explained of what had happened to the rest of them. There was one thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that if Snake knew, he might well go insane. They decided as much by a look the moment Snake had climbed out of the coffin. Snake's story explained frustratingly little. Zero's true identity was a mystery, as were his intentions. Why had Zero put Guy X in Snake's clothes? If Zero had left a note for them to say the Nanria game had been played 9 years before, was there some connection? Junpei put the question to Snake. His answer was less than illuminating. What are you talking about? I apologize, but I have no idea what you're saying. It seemed as though Snake was perhaps not being entirely honest, but that knowledge did give Junpei and Seven little good. Or did Junpei and Seven little good. No matter how many times they asked, he insisted that he knew nothing. It was becoming clear that Snake wouldn't give in, and every second they spent asking him was a second wasted. Their time limit was fast approaching. Snake's release from the coffin had changed nothing. They still needed to follow Ace as quickly as possible. However... They stood in silence, the overpowering atmosphere of the chapel almost stifling. Junpei, Seven, and Snake simply stood, at a loss for what they should do next. What do we do now? He glanced over at Snake's wrist. Sure enough, he could see the 2 on the bracelet on Snake's wrist. The 3 of us can't make a digital root of 9. Yeah, we just get 5. We're stuck here, then. Oh, hey, I just remembered something. Seven began patting his pockets as if he were checking to see if any of them held anything. What? What is it? I found something earlier. What'd you find? This. He finally found the pocket he wanted, and his hand dove into it. Seven pulled out something round and metal. A bracelet. There was no mistaking the number glowing at them from the face like a cartoon eye. 0. Zero's bracelet. What the hell? Are you saying that Seven has the number 0 bracelet? Yeah. Where did you get that? Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he learned the truth, if he'd been able to see, he would have noticed Seven look away. Clover gave it to me. She did? Yeah. How did she come by it? Well, she found it, see, on the other side of door 1, A deck, in the captain's quarters. She asked me to hold on to it because it was too big and bulky for her to be lugging around. It was a lie, and Junpei knew it. I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing. Alright, Junpei. Been nice knowing you. What? 7 plus 2 plus 0 equals 9. Come on, man, I'm just kidding. Still, just in case, I want to make sure the 0 bracelet gets picked up by the red. Snake, give me a hand, alright? Without waiting for a response, he started walking towards the door. Junpei and Snake followed him quietly. Before long, they found themselves in front of the larger of the 2 doors. Seven and Snake put their palms on the red. Once they'd done that, Seven put the number 0 bracelet on the scanner panel as well. A third asterisk appeared on the screen. 7 plus 2 plus 0 is 9. Now they just needed to pull the lever and the door would open. Huh? Why isn't it opening?
Well, the third asterisk lit up, so it must have registered the 0 bracelet.
Maybe it isn't actually 0. Huh?
What?
That bracelet may not actually produce the number 0 when scanned. That is what I'm saying. Why don't we try a few different combinations? Perhaps we can determine what number that bracelet actually contains. Junpei nodded. They decided to use the following combination. Let's try... one of these combinations equals 9. I know that much. I don't need the map. Let's see. 7, 2... I think the bracelet number was 6. Not that. God damn it. 7, 5, or 2, 5, 6, 7. Digital root of 2. Nope. 2, 5. Oh, fuck it. Let's just troubleshoot. Junpei plus 7 plus the bracelet. Junpei plus 7 plus 5 or equals 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. If that combination worked, then the mysterious bracelet number was 6. They scanned in their bracelets. Yep.
It opened.
Yes, so it would seem. 7 clearly hadn't thought their experimentation would produce anything useful, and looked rather confused. Snake was, as usual, calm and smug. The door slid closed. Junpei's forehead furrowed as he thought. That meant that the number for the mysterious bracelet was 6. 5 plus 7 plus 6 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. But how could it be 6? The display on the bracelet clearly showed a 0. Suddenly, from somewhere far beneath them, they heard the creak and groan of tearing metal. With it came the sound of water pouring into parts of the ship that had until recently been dry.
Oh man, that's not good. I guess our time's just about up, huh?
At any rate, we now know that the door can be opened. Let's go. But, Snake, are you sure?
Yeah, you know, only Junpei and I can go through this way.
You needn't worry, I have a solution to the problem. My last resort, but if now is not the time for last resorts, then when? Last...
resort?
Junpei 7 and Snake ran full tilt down the long straight hallway. They were headed for the stern of the ship and had no time for distractions. As they ran, 7 spoke.
Gotta admit, you really surprised me there, kid. I couldn't figure out how the hell you were gonna get out of that one. How come you didn't do that right off the bat?
As I told you, it was the last resort. Had I used it at the beginning of the game, I would have come under a great deal of suspicion. I imagine most people would have taken it to mean that I was 0. Once they'd convinced themselves of that, I wasn't optimistic about my chances of making it out of here alive, let alone unscathed. I felt it best to play my cards close to the chest, as it were. That way, if I were in a situation where there was nothing else I could do, I'd have a little trick up my sleeves. I'd just take my bracelet off. Snake's plan had been simple but effective. He'd simply removed his bracelet. How? To Junpei, it looked as though he'd simply crushed the bones of his hand until they were small enough to fit through the wristband. Of course, that would have been practically impossible, so how had he done it? My brother's left arm is... it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm. Snake had slid the bracelet off and tossed it into the coffin. With it gone, he had little to fear from the numbered doors. He walked through the doors easily without authenticating. He stepped out of the other side unscathed and began running down the hall alongside 7 and Junpei. They kept running for a while longer and eventually came upon a set of stairs leading downward on the right side of the hallway. They stopped and peered down the staircase. As far as they could tell, it went all the way down to the bottom deck. There didn't seem to be any flooding. They nodded quickly to one another and jogged down the stairs. It took only a few minutes to make their way to the bottom deck. There was a single hallway in front of them, at the end of which was a single door. Junpei threw it open. Inside was a massive iron gate. A plate was affixed to the top of it. It read, "Incinerator." Incinerator? Oh my, that doesn't sound very pleasant. Do you see a lever near the gate, perhaps? Yeah, right over here.
How do you know that?
Well, I'd be happy to regale you with the story. I imagine it should only take half a day or so. Junpei grumbled, gave Snake a dirty look, and jogged over to the lever. If you pull it, the door ought to open. Got it. He pulled the lever down. With the rumble of an ancient motor, the door opened. There was no need to hold back and no time to hesitate. They pushed their way inside. Standing in front of them were Ace and Lotus. Ace still held the revolver in his hand. It was still pressed hard against Lotus's temple. A small dark bruise had begun to form near the tip. Even from several yards away, Junpei could see that Lotus was shaking. She was terrified. But perhaps more interesting was what Junpei saw behind them. 9. Another numbered 9 door. But why? Why was there another one? The door stopped Junpei in his tracks. It simply shouldn't have been there. As his brain finally began to consider why, the whine of a warning klaxon filled the air, drowning out any thought. Warning. Warning. Emergency Incinerator Command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 9 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Oh my, how exciting. You've run quite a show here, Zero. A terrifying smile twisted Ace's face. What's the matter? Too frightened to understand? Here, let me explain. It's said that the incinerator system is about to activate. In 9 minutes, this room will be engulfed in flame. Huh? Who are you? You don't recognize me? I'm hurt. It's me, Snake. Snake? Ah, yes, you are alive. I'm afraid your bizarre style had me confused. I'm quite glad to see that you're alive. Ace's voice didn't change. Snake ground his teeth. If you don't mind my asking, how did you get here? Snake, Junpei, 7. The 3 of you couldn't have opened a door with a 9. Did you use Clover's bracelet, perhaps? What? 2 plus 5 plus 7 plus 4 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. Well, your reaction suggests that you did not. Hold on! Why did you think we'd have Clover's bracelet? Junpei felt his chest tighten. Oh, they haven't told you? Told me what? Clearly not. Normally I would take some time and enjoy the moment, but I'm afraid my time is at a premium just now. I'll have to make this quick. Clover. Don't do it, Ace. Keep your goddamn mouth shut. Clover. I said stop it! Don't listen to him, Snake! Junpei could feel his voice going hoarse, but Snake didn't listen to him. What happened to Clover? Ace looked at him. The corner of his mouth curled into the hook of a cruel smile. Clover died. The color left Snake's face. He shook his head weakly. No, that's not true. That's impossible. It's a lie. It has to be a lie. Oh, it's quite true. I can assure you of that. I killed her myself, you see. What? I'm sorry, did I stutter? I killed her. Snake's face twisted into a mask of rage, mottled red rising to dot his pale skin. His entire body shook. He looked to Junpei disturbingly like a demon. I would have rather she died with less suffering. A bullet in her brain perhaps would have been ideal. Unfortunately, that would have made quite a bit of noise. Circumstances being what they were, I was forced to settle for the knife. The one the 9th man had, you remember? I believe I caught her just below the shoulder blade. I was rather lucky at that. My first thrust went right between her ribs. Her flesh was so soft. My knife slid in so easily. And there was no resistance. And that feeling was... I confess I feel rather excited. It is a powerful memory. Someday perhaps I hope I can feel it again. Incineration will begin in 7 minutes. I'm going to kill you. Snake's words were a guttural growl, barely audible. I'm sorry, what? I'm going to kill you. Ah, so you're going to kill me. Please do. Come now, I'm waiting.
Don't do it! Don't listen to him, Snake!
Stop.
Stop it, kid. He's screwing with your head.
Is there a problem? What are you waiting for, boy? Don't you want me to send you to join your sister?
Don't! Snake! Don't do it!
But Snake could no longer hear them. Snake could no longer hear anything. Snake moved like a bolt of lightning. His scream echoed through the incineration chamber, full of rage and despair.
Snake! Snake!
I'm not going to do Lotus's scream, but Lotus screams. The reason I'm saying some of these things as though you might not be watching is because you might not be watching at this point. Another scream filled the room. It was Lotus. She ran across the room towards Junpei, her eyes wide with terror. Snake's ill-fated attack had loosened Ace's grip on her, and she'd made a run for it. She reached Seven and Junpei and ducked behind them. Junpei could feel her fingers on his arm, tight enough to be painful, keeping him between her and Ace. Incineration will begin in 5 minutes. Give me the woman. He raised the gun. I need her. Without her bracelet, I will be unable to open this door. 1 + 8 + 9 is 18, 1 + 8 is 9. Quickly now. I don't have time for your shenanigans. In the center of the room, Snake's body lay eerily still. Oh, whoops. He looked like a human larva, prone and vulnerable on the floor. I see. Then it would seem I have no choice. The rest of you must die as well. Fortunately, I have 5 bullets left. 1 for Junpei, another for Lotus, and the last 3 for that lump of idiotic man you call Seven. I will take Lotus's body with me and leave this room. Incineration will begin in 4 minutes. Well, it looks as though our time together is at an end. I rather enjoyed playing with you. Goodbye. Junpei could see Ace's finger tighten. You could see it begin to squeeze down on the trigger. His body tensed, preparing for the catastrophic impact of hot lead against human flesh. Then it happened. Pretty good place to save. Good place to, end the video and wait for the next one. I don't know, but suddenly, seems like a really stupid choice for a noise to make. As opposed to, would probably be better. Anyway, it's the semantics of stuff. Until next time, peace.